You're listening to Uncle Sam Saves America, a patriotic show for the average Joe.
Capitalism is not a dirty word. It's just a system where you can apply your skills, your knowledge, your schooling, your education, your tools, your time, your money, and you can invest that in something that you want to build for yourself. And you can succeed. It is possible to succeed in this world, in this America. Right? If you want to mow lawns, if you want to open a barbecue stand, if you want to invent the next biggest thing in your garage, right? In true capitalism, anybody can try it, right? You don't need a license to try. You don't need a party card, right? Just you, the market, and your efforts to build whatever it is that you want to build for yourself in this world. And the best part of it is that people choose you with their money. Right? If you make a product and people don't like it, then you fail and you try again. If you make a product and people enjoy it, they're going to buy it, then you succeed and you keep on going and you innovate and you grow. That is capitalism. That is what keeps America free. What you don't like is corporatism, because that's where everything gets sideways. Corporatism is what happens when big companies get in bed with the government. They stop competing and they start controlling everything. Instead of winning because they are better than their competitors, they win because they write the laws, they crush the little guy, they get bailouts, they avoid taxes that everybody else has to pay, especially the small businessman, right? Think of like Amazon and all these big massive tax breaks that they get. Or Walmart, how they came along and they pushed out all the mom and pop shops. Or Big Pharma, how they own everything from the medicines that you take to keep you alive all the way down to the aspirin you take to get rid of your mild headache. They make the profits off of that. And it boils down to 3 or 4 companies controlling each little sector. That is corporatism, not capitalism. You don't hate capitalism because capitalism gives you an opportunity to do something for yourself. Corporatism is what happens when the big conglomerate comes along and tries to buy you out, and if you don't sell out to them, then they crush you. That's corporatism. That's what everybody hates. That's where everybody gets upset with the big millionaires and billionaire companies and tech CEOs and everybody who controls all of this massive amount of everything. People want to blame capitalism, but that's not the actual culprit. The culprit is corporatism, right? So what is it that they look for? What do they think the answer is? Well, inevitably, the answer they think about is socialism. But I got bad news for you, right? Under socialism, the problem isn't having too many big giant conglomerates and corporations. Under socialism, the problem is having one boss that controls everything, sets all the rules, and that's the government, right? No choices, no competition, no freedom, right? You can't build a business. You can't keep your profit. You can't challenge any rules because the rule makers are also the enforcers, right? And that one boss, they don't care if you like it or not, right? Because they've got the guns, they've got the resources, they've got the people, and they've got the money to make sure that the propaganda machine that they want to push forward keeps rolling. So what is that fix? Well, it's certainly not destroying capitalism. What needs to happen is we need to restore capitalism. And here's how. You do that when you break up monopolies, when you end lobbyist rule writing, whenever you end company bailouts, and especially for billionaires and big corporate businesses, right? When you let the small business thrive and start to rise again, right? That reopens the gates to all of free enterprise, which is what capitalism is truly supposed to be about, right? You have the ability to be able to build something, and no one should be able to take that away from you. You should be able to fail or succeed on your own merit without any input or control from the government, right? That's what built this country. That is what capitalism is truly about. Socialism You have no control over anything, and everything that you do, you don't have a choice in. You don't get to choose your career. They choose it for you. They tell you where they're going to put you to work, and that will be based off of whatever particular skill set you show, plus wherever they need the people. That's what happens in socialism. You don't like your job, you can't change it, because you are doing the work that the state, the government, says that you're going to do. That's socialism, right? You can't live in a better apartment than the next guy because socialism dictates that everybody's going to have a even playing field. You may work harder than the next guy, but he's going to be busy getting all of his free stuff. And where does all of his free stuff comes from? All of his free stuff comes from the taxes that you pay off of the work that you are doing and putting into that social government system. And you don't get to live any better than him, even though you do all the work. Is that really fair? How social is that really? Right? You're not wrong to be mad about these kind of things. Right? You're mad because the rent is too high. You're mad because wages are flat. You are mad because everything seems rigged to support the system and squash the little guy. And that's because it is. But it's not because of capitalism. Right? It's by a merger of the state and corporate powers. That is what becomes fascism and not freedom. So if you want to end the system, if you want to fight the system and you want to fight for a level playing field, you got to break up the monopolies. You got to end the corporate bailouts. You've got to cut the backroom lobbying power bullshit, and you got to let small businesses rise. You got to let small businesses take form. You got to let them take control, and you got to let those small entrepreneurs, those businessmen who are putting all of their risk, all of their efforts, all of their training, their skills, their knowledge, their money, and everything into that business, you've got to allow them the opportunity to rise. And that cannot happen under any system other than capitalism. So what our real enemy is corporatism, not capitalism. And we certainly do not want a socialist type of living. Not in America. Not here, not ever, not now.
You're listening to Uncle Sam Saves America, a patriotic show for the average Joe.